When you look back at Temple, especially the second half, did you see anything on film that differentiated the first and second half that maybe you hadn't noticed during the game?
No. That's a great question, but no. I felt like we played very well defensively both halves. I could feel that. I felt like we weren't playing very well offensively the first half. That was painfully obvious, and in the second half we played really well at both ends. But I felt like we had really good fight to us on the boards defensively, and I thought we found a flow offensively in the second half.
How are Ferran and Everett doing?
Pardon?
Ferran and Everett doing?
Everett, not so great. Did not practice today. Ferran seems to be coming right along, so I think hopefully we're going to be in good shape.
So he's practicing now?
Yeah.
Is there a feeling of redemption with practice today? Did you notice something with these guys?
Because of our last game? We had a really good practice. I don't know exactly if it's that, and certainly it'll be something that we will mention, but it's not, only the big rallying cry, but certainly, when a team beats you the first time, I think there's a little extra motivation, but I hope I hope that our good practice was not only for that, but also, for the season, the right mentality for the entire year.
When you spoke after the game the other day about Isaiah Jacey getting the start, you talked about him earning it a little bit with his play and his practice, and also that you, to paraphrase, you had higher expectations, I guess, for Ethan. How did Ethan respond to that?
I thought pretty well, pretty well. One thing I never want to, outside criticize our players, I think, but inwardly, coaches are always correcting. That's what we do. I mean, you try to get rid of the things that are going to get you beat, and try to do a lot of the things that give you a chance to win. I'm not down on Ethan. I think Ethan can be a great player, and at times he has been. I want him to be more consistent, but Isaiah's a defensive presence, and that was a part of it. That's a part of the reason for I think he can get increased playing time, because if you play great defense, you have a chance to win every night. Offense comes and goes, so he's been playing very well in the defensive end. I hope it motivates Ethan to be more consistent. Ethan has given us some very good minutes defensively, he has, but I hope it motivates him to be even more consistent and play harder.
When you say consistent, is it on offense? Because obviously, because he's not having a great offensive season, but is that where you're kind of looking at it?
No. You can't control. There's some things you can't control. One of them is whether you shoot the ball in the basket. You can't control the kind of shots you get. Certainly, he's forced some shots that he shouldn't take. Knows better. But I'm more with the things the guy can't control. How hard he's playing, how attention to detail, the defensive end, the boards, those things that can be with you every night. And I keep telling our team we have no chance to be a great team, no chance until we are tremendously solid at those two areas. If we're not a great defensive team and we're not a great rebounding team, we're not going to be a great team. We're not. And we do that in stretches where I think we are great, but there's way too many minutes where we're far from great. And until or unless that happens, we're gonna have ups and downs.
The one thing that Tyson mentioned about ECU was the fight. You love talking about the fight with your team. What are you looking for with this SMU team as you prepare for ECU at home?
Basically, what I said. Regardless of the opponent, regardless of where we are, consequence or whatever, you want a team that is so incredibly committed to stopping the other team and to owning the boards. Those teams win leagues. Those teams go to tournaments. You look up statistics across the country. Our league, we've researched it. you know, the great defensive teams and rebounding teams, those guys move forward, and the ones that base their life on hoping they make shots, they don't move forward. So it's really not complicated, but it's certainly not easy to do that because it takes an exceptional work ethic, exceptional toughness, exceptional, you know, attention to detail, to things that maybe don't know, that you're not going to write or talk about. Sacrifice, incredible sacrifice, and not everybody, not every team, you know, is willing to make that.
When you say you've done a lot of research, you know, is that like you've looked at the teams historically that
exactly.
So what kind of has gone into that? I guess I'm curious.
What kind of what?
Like what kind of research has gone into it?
Well, just looking like we'll look at our league. We'll look at, you know, a couple 3 years ago we win the league, we win the tournament. We were by far the best defensive field goal percentage. We were an amazing rebounding team. We looked at in the last 3 years the teams in our league that finished 1, 2, 3, and almost every single one, there was maybe 1 or 2 exceptions, their defenses weren't way up and their rebounding wasn't way up. So if you do the numbers, I think somebody just told me today, I don't know if you put it out or whatever, but I think our team is 50-3 or something when the other team, I don't know, shoots under 40% or I don't know, something like that. But that's what we've been selling. I believe it, you know, and that's, but again, you can tell your team, hey, if you hold them to this, you got a 96% chance of winning, but saying it and doing it are 2 different things. But to answer your question, we looked at our league. I looked at, you know, some Final Four teams. Like, I looked at other league champions and just really kind of randomly looked at things. And what always comes to the top is great defensive numbers and great rebounding numbers.
When you face the team for the second time, how much of your preparation is reviewing the first game, and how much is just looking at what they've done since then and what you've done since then?
Kind of a mix, you know. And the one thing you can fall into if you're not careful is thinking this will all unfold the same way. You know, if you're not careful, you're like, well, he's going to do this and he's going to do that and they're going to do this, and sometimes it's not like that at all. So you got to be careful, just spending all your time looking at that last game and thinking you can tweak this and that when it may be completely different. So I think it's got to be a mix that way.
You've talked about your team being young, or at least young together as a team. When you get a second shot at a team like this, do you and your staff sort of stand back and let the older guys sort of lead the anticipation and excitement going into a revenge game, for lack of a better term?
Maybe a little bit, but not totally going to ignore it either. Not 100% going to count on that, but yeah, I mean, it's not something that we're going to over dramatize. It is part of this game, but there's a lot to every game, and so yeah, I hope, and I already feel it. I do feel like our guys are, you know, very determined, but I don't want to take anything away from East Carolina either. I mean, you know, heck, they went to Wichita, and inside of a minute at Wichita, minute and a half, it's a 1-point game. I don't want to take anything away from them. They've shown, you know, they beat South Florida at home, so I have a lot of respect for them. And obviously, their coach and I work together and been friends for years, so that's a whole other side feeling.